Hey guys, it's Tuesday, and I am back on with Annie Brewster. I'm actually thinking that I'm going to do a two-part video here, all in one video, because I think I can kind of relate the topics, and both of them are in my mind. So rather than posting two videos in a day, I think I'm going to tie them together. So Brewster is still wearing this gorgeous outfit from Jacqueline Cassidy. It is a one-of-a-kind handmade piece, and I think Inez had suggested that this was a French pastoral print, and I think she's right. I would have to agree. So I thought about changing her just because it is getting warm out. And this is such a beautiful outfit that it's not really something that I am going to, you know, like carry her and snuggle her in. To be honest, I don't do a whole lot of time, like, you know, snuggling my dolls right now. So one of my viewers of my the last video that I did, that asked, you know, how would your collection look if you didn't have constraints financially, space-wise, or by having to consider other people's feelings about your collection that may not match yours. You know, how would your collection, you know, look? What would you prefer? Large collection, small collection of, you know, your opinion, your version of perfect high quality? Would you utilize a lot of space for a nursery and storage? You know, just how would it look for you? And one of my viewers, her channel name is Cuddles, Coos, and Booze, had expressed an interest in taking the conversation a little bit further down one of the paths that came up during the talk. And I know that this is certainly a topic that has been explored before, I'm sure, and we may even have talked about it here on my channel. But her question was, you know, like, when is enough enough? Like, how do you know when enough is enough? Brewster is the perfect one to bring on for this chat because she is my, you know, my final purchase for a while. And I know a lot of people say that, and I think I've even said that before, but I want to talk about how I got where I am in that decision. And there really is a different feeling about it this time. Like, I've put boundaries in my mind. There's a couple of things that go into what I feel, you know, defines enough. But I'll just tell you a little bit about my history in collecting. I first found these dolls last summer, probably August. I would say August is a good time frame. And now we're in May. I currently have 4 dolls in my collection, all of which are good quality dolls, and 3 of which are from master artists. Again, so grateful for the dolls that I have, and really astounded that I actually have something that I can call a collection. There are 2 dolls that were my dolls that are no longer in my collection, and there are 2 dolls that belong to my daughter, and then there's another doll that was the first reborn to ever enter this house, who just wasn't right, and I knew it, and I sold that baby locally. So I've also chatted a little bit on this channel about, you know, conflict with my partner, about my total immersion in this hobby and how quickly I'm spending money. Now, I do want to lay out there that I don't spend family money on these dolls. I have extra money that I set aside that should be for savings, that I mostly use on gifts for other people and myself, that have been my investment money. So I'm not taking from my family, although I could certainly give more extra to the family if I chose to, but my, you know, our needs are certainly covered. I heard a lot of feedback from people, some of whom were pretty angry about the topic, not at me or my family, but that, you know, you should be able to do what you want to do with your money, and your partner should love you no matter what, and you should be able, you know, don't let anybody tell you what to do, and if you want another doll, get another doll. I agree with that. I agree with that as long as, I'll just use the word I'll make I statements, as long as I am being 100% honest with myself about where I'm at in my head, right? So if the topic is that, you know, your partner thinks it's creepy, or your partner thinks it's a waste of money, or your partner thinks it's weird, but you're really not infringing upon anything, then, you know, I think you just really need to evaluate your priorities and what works for you in your life. If the concerns are regarding focus, obsession, taking time away from things like business and family, and taking your focus maybe away from what your bigger, grander goals are outside of a collection hobby, I think it's worth listening to. So when is enough enough? I decided enough was enough for me when I got quiet and honest with myself. After the fight, after the argument, after the putting my foot down, after the asserting my independence and my grownhood, because I am 40 years old, I certainly don't allow people to tell me what to do. Although I do take into consideration my partner, because when you're in a relationship, it's not just about you. And I do believe that. When I got quiet with myself, because you see, I think, I will make this a we statement, I think that we lie to ourselves, and we aren't always honest with ourselves about where we're at, because there's a principle that we can hide behind. So, you know, my knee-jerk reaction if I feel controlled is to do exactly the opposite of what the controller wants me to do. Of course, that's obvious. But the reality was that I was spending hours upon hours upon hours watching YouTube videos. Now, I don't sit down and watch YouTube videos and do nothing. I watch them while I do dishes. I watch them or listen to them while I work or while I'm walking the dog. Okay. I was also forming relationships in the community, which is a wonderful thing. I was spending additional hours in chats during key times, right? Like business times, family time. More troublesome, I was spending hours upon hours upon hours looking at dolls that were for sale and figuring out how I could get them, and obsessing over which one I wanted, and going through, you know, and I have, you know, a touch of OCD. I guess I would classify it as that, where if I have a decision to make, it will eat away at me until I make a choice. It is all I can think about. And when I got really honest with myself, I realized every moment that I was alone and nobody was watching, I was spending my time in my hobby, and I was not giving my full focus. Like, I didn't cordon my time, right? I didn't cordon my time to, you know, right now is work time, and I'm not going to check my messages, you know, that kind of thing. You can, it doesn't have to be dolls anyway. It could be Facebook. It could be Pinterest. Whatever it might be. You know, was I being the person that I wanted to be, and was I being the person that I claimed to be? And, you know, no, I wasn't. Was I putting 100% effort into growing our business? Was I putting 100% effort into being available when my partner wanted to talk to me? No, I wasn't. And I could just as easily have hidden behind this, you know, this assertion that it's my life. You know, and I could have justifiably, like, gone my own separate way in life if I wanted to, if I wanted to stick to my guns. You know, but it's a funny thing when you actually step back and listen to your thoughts, and you you realize that there's a part of you that's telling you something about yourself, and then there's the part of you that like can admit the things that you don't want to admit. Okay, so there's that. That's the time where I realized enough was enough, where I needed to really like enjoy what I had and make sure that I was in it for the long haul and not just the momentary frenzy. I needed to find balance. The other thing is that, and Tasha, you say this a lot and I love it, this is a collection. What are you gonna do if you go, like, you know, excuse my expression, but balls to the wall, collecting in the first 9 months, and you are out of space already? And that's what I did. What are you going to collect for the rest of your life? It's going to be this constant swap out, this constant selling, or you're going to run out of space, or you're going to run out of money, you know. And like part of it, you know, slow accumulation is part of the fun of collecting too. So like thinking about the marathon and not the sprint, I guess. There was an element of needing to get it right, get my tastes right, get the level of doll and the type of doll, like, you know, to like a certain point of completion. So I'll get specific with that. I have my painted hair baby from Jacqueline Cassidy, who is with her right now at the spa getting some touch-ups. And she's a master artist, and he's phenomenally painted, high level of realism, and he's gorgeous. I have my open-eyed baby, who is a boy with rooted hair, from Wendy Graham, also a master artist. And I have Ronan, who is my sleeping boy with rooted hair. And I have my girl. And I, believe me, went through a whole process. You know, there's like a whole justification and explanation that goes on in your mind, you know, like why you can get one more. You guys, I made a choice to make an agreement with myself and with my partner regarding how long I would sit and enjoy the collection I had. And that means no selling too, by the way, because I needed to have it so much that I moved heaven and earth and rearranged funds and everything else, and went through the hard conversations, letting my partner know another baby was coming in and another baby was going out for what, a couple of months, and then do it again. And I also made a decision to think realistically about the space that we have in our home, and put a real cap to the number of dolls that I would have at any given time. So even once I get past the time frame that I've set for myself in my own mind and in my agreement of how long I'm going to enjoy the babies that I have, then I still will keep my collection size to 4, unless something massive happens. And once we gain more space, once the children grow, you know, maybe if we move, you know, whatever might happen, you know, if it becomes more feasible to expand, then that option opens up. So when is enough enough? I think enough is enough when you can separate the desire to get and the desire to have, the desire to acquire, that the element of being a consumer, the addiction to the box opening, the addiction of the newness. When you can separate that with your enjoyment of your collection, and you can go back to the root of what it was that you really wanted, and then you can find a balance where you feel satisfied with what you have, and then you can work on the discipline of the habit, the habitual part of it. For everybody, it's going to be different. All of this is my opinion. Opinions are like lots of body parts that everybody has, and everybody thinks everybody else's stinks. Enough is enough when you, the real and honest you, feels that it's enough. And you really can feel satisfied by appreciating other people's collections. I used to do a practice when I was, because, you know, buying dolls isn't the only thing I've become like obsessed with buying. Spending can be a really strong addiction. You can just love to shop. You get the package and put it aside. Having the thing doesn't even matter. I mean, for some people, some of us. But if you look at something that you really love and that you feel you need to have, and you just look at it and you let it in, and you feel like you are acquiring the energy of that thing and like appreciating it, it's amazing how many times you actually don't need to have the physical object because you feel you've had the experience. And so I have come across, Katie, I was telling you, at least 5 dolls that stole my heart in the last couple of weeks. I haven't for one second thought about buying one, and if I feel like I start to go down that track, I close the window. I've stopped following the Reborns for sale tag. Like, it's, you know, I'm not interested in that in my life right now. Honestly, I am not interested, and that is it. I am not interested, not because I was told not to, or not because I don't want to get in trouble or deal with problems or go broke. I want other things more in life. And I love and enjoy this hobby, these dolls. It's awesome for a lot of different reasons. Again, different for a lot of people, but you know the reasons why. I think the key to a lot of things in life, and this is my humble opinion based on my life experiences, the key to a lot of things that we want, really want at a deep soul level, is to be able to get real with ourselves. You know, there's what some people call the ego. There's a side of you that's like telling yourself all these things to justify or to excuse. And then there's a part of you that hears you telling yourself something. If you are telling yourself something, who are you? Who is doing the telling? And who is listening to all of it? All right. So I think that's about what I have for that. I didn't prepare any notes or anything. I just sort of figured I'd go on the fly. Hopefully some of it made some sense to you guys. I'm going to pause the video here and bring out Niklaus. I'm going to put him into his new outfit. And head into the second part of the video. One last piece with this girl, the reason that I didn't change her, I started to say earlier and realized I got sidetracked, is one neat thing about not collecting expensive babies is you can collect some nice things to go with the babies. And I have one, technically two, but I'm going to put it together as one outfit, two outfits and some accessories that should all be coming this week for her. And I know once I change her, then something will arrive and I'll want to change her again. I'm going to hold. She just got in this and it's gorgeous. But then I'll be excited to share with you her new items that when they come in. And just like that, like magic, we're back with a new baby here. So, this is my Atticus sculpt, little Thomas Niklaus. It looks like maybe it's a little dry in here. I think I see, it could be a breeze, maybe blowing his hair. But he did just get up out of his bed, so his hair does need a little bit of doing. And I'm going to change him into one of the outfits that I shared on my mini haul video. This is an outfit that I purchased from Katie at My Little World. Let's see, let me put it here so I know for sure you can see it in the camera. It is from Aardvark Baby Wear. And so he's going to have his white onesie on, and then it's the blue quilted super soft pants and quilted white jacket with the buttons down the front with the applique bear. It says little baby in blue embroidery and has a nice blue trim around it. It has been warm here. It does get chilly at night though, and I don't think it's going to get much chillier for the season, so I want to go ahead and see this on him now. So we're going to put this on him now before it gets any hotter out. Okay, just needed to safely remove the tag. So the second part of my video, again, I don't really have any notes going or anything, so we're going to see how this all flows. But do you think that people are capable of change? That's what I want to ask. And the reason why I think it does fit together is because I think the first person that I'm going to look at to answer this question for myself is myself. And I think that the first part of my video sort of pointed to the fact that I do. I think that people can change. I think that I can change for the better or the worse. I feel like my life has been a constant set of transformations forward and steps, setbacks. I feel like you can become a better person, and I feel like you can be a worse person. And I know that I'm ascribing, good and bad judgments in that statement. So take it with a grain of salt. I really do feel mostly shades of gray in life, more so than good or bad, with experiences and with people. A quote I've mentioned before. I have my favorites and I do repeat them, so you've probably heard it. But reputation is just history in rumor form. And that was said in the movie 12 Dates of Christmas, which is like a Hallmark or ABC holiday movie with Amy Smart, and her neighbor said that. Reputation is nothing more than history in rumor form. Look at this cute guy. And some people say that there are certain lines that you can cross that there really isn't coming back from. For example, if you kill somebody, you're never the same. I've heard that said by people who have killed people. Not in person, in interviews. I don't know if it's true. I've never killed anyone, and I don't know anyone who has. Save for some of my friends who are in the military that haven't shared that with me. But, I feel like every single person is capable of doing really crappy things, and of saying really crappy things, and of becoming really crappy. Like just like you go down a rabbit hole of becoming obsessed with buying dolls, for example, you can go down the rabbit hole of getting gossipy, or you can go down the rabbit hole of becoming really paranoid about what people think about you. You can go down the rabbit hole of becoming an elitist in anything, whether you become an elitist in doll collecting or you become an elitist in spirituality. I've seen people do that in Christianity. I've seen people do that in spiritual, like New Age. There are pitfalls everywhere. You can become a nightmare while you're fighting for really good things like pipelines, or, not being installed, or good food. It's so easy. So I'll use a perfect example. I'll use myself for an example. So it's not a perfect example because I'm going to talk about me, and I'm not perfect. But let me use a personal example. As I mentioned, I really believe in the shades of gray. I love stories about the gray Jedi. I love stories about, I love things that sort of, question those boundaries, because I feel like people have reasons for things. People on both sides of the line of a war generally think that they're the good guys. There's so much gray. The people who work for the big corporations you hate, like the people that are working there are just trying to feed their families, right? They're not calling the shots, but then by working for them, they're supporting them. So, but if we just did away with all of them right away, how many families would be without? There's not an easy answer to almost anything. With that said, I'm highly judgmental. I'll be honest about that. I laugh about things that some people would consider as making fun of people. I have my own internal judgments about other people's likes and dislikes. I can get fired up and angry about what I perceive to be an injustice, or somebody not being nice to somebody that I love, and I can get fighting mad and I can get nasty for sure. And all those things go, like, you know, against what on the whole people perceive me to be. You know, people say that my channel is peaceful and zen and all that stuff. And when you know yourself on the inside, it's easy to think that you're a fraud, right? Because you know that you're capable of anything. Most people are. Do I think that all of a sudden I am not all of the things that I, you know, stand for? No. But I do also know that I have a long, long, long history before I started to grow as a person, and I know that I'm surrounded by a world that's full of negativity and full of judgment, because it's also a world that's full of insecurity, by the way. And I feel it's very easy to go to the lowest common denominator. I think it's very easy to revert to the vibration that has been your dominant vibration for most of your life. I feel like at any moment, anybody could have a shakabuku moment. If you ever saw Grosse Point Blank with John Cusack and Minnie Driver, shakabuku is a swift spiritual kick to the head that alters your reality forever. Shakabuku is a swift spiritual kick to the head that alters your reality forever. And poof, your judgments could change. Poof, your way of operating could change. Poof, you could still be human and screw up. You could feel vulnerable and you could act like a jerk. You could be in a dynamic with people around you that is bringing out your worst. You could be in a power struggle, an energetic power struggle, and you could be the aggressor, or they could be the victim, or vice versa. You know, there's all these sub-level energetic things that go on as well. There's egos, there's pain bodies, I've had some downright embarrassing moments in my actions in the course of my, 6+ years relationship with my partner. And I feel like I have a good relationship, and I feel like I'm an awesome girlfriend, but I've let my emotions get the better of me, and I've been a shit, you know what I mean? And a lot of that's ego, power struggle, fear, and I feel like I won't define myself by my worst moments, and I feel like I could change. And I also feel like if I'm not diligent and I'm not honest with myself, like I was talking about in the first portion of this video, that I could go the other way. I don't think I would be comfortable long term, for any real amount of time with that, because, because I know what I know now. So there's that. That's a positive. This is really cute, Katie. Thank you. Do I feel like let's say, for example, somebody got into a position of gossiping, or somebody got into a position of making fun of somebody, or someone got into a position of being like not liking somebody. All of these are hypothetical, not specific situations, but let's just say that were to happen. Do I feel like all of a sudden now that person, let's say it was me, do I feel like I would be locked into forever keeping that face up with the person that I was participating it in with? Because, so now all of a sudden that's who I am? Or do I feel like I could just, decide that that's not who I am, or not who I want to be anymore, and change it? I feel like every opportunity, we're like evolving beings, and I feel like life is fluid, and I feel like at any moment is an opportunity to redefine yourself, or to reclaim who you are at your core. And I feel like it takes courage and it takes bravery to not keep going down a path just because you've set a precedent with somebody, for example. And it may or may not end a relationship or change a relationship dynamic. You know, it may or may not. I don't, you know, every situation is going to be different. But I absolutely feel like people can become better, people can become worse, but people can absolutely change. And I feel like always leaving room for somebody to turn things around. And it's something that requires diligence on a personal level for me personally, to, you know, watch my words, make sure that, you know, what I'm saying is true, and what I'm saying is necessary, you know, and that it's not hurting other people. And here's one more thing. I think that if we are to act from a place of, if what I said were exposed to the people that I was speaking about, or people involved in the situation I was speaking about, would I be okay with that? Or would I be mortified? Would I be angry at the person who exposed it? And you guys, I cannot stress this enough, because I know that I'll get messages. I'm not speaking about any situation with anybody that I know. I'm just talking about life. That's why this channel, that's why the Raendom and Raendom Reborn, Raendom is a play on the word random, and it started with random thoughts, because I just think about things and then I just have to talk about them to nobody if that's the case, but I just like get it out. I feel like we always have to be willing to have whatever we say be exposed and be okay with that and be able to still stand behind it. And then, you know, it causes you to be conscious with your words. I used to work at Starbucks, okay, and we work with a lot of different age groups and different levels of maturity and life experience. And I feel like it was very difficult to maintain a high vibration and a high level of integrity there, because it was like I was a fish and everybody was a fish, and they were swimming in a bowl of negativity, but they didn't realize. It's like a fish doesn't realize that it's swimming in water, because that's its natural environment. I felt like unhappiness, complaining about the job, you know, complaining about people was like the norm. But I didn't fault the people who were doing it, because it was just like they were fish in water, didn't realize that they were in the water. That was just the state of being. And I feel like that for a lot of us, that's just the way it is, and you have to realize it. That's the first thing, is realizing it, and then being willing to change the environment if you can't maintain that vibration in the environment you're in, but being impeccable with your word and being willing to not feed into like the negativity, because either A, it feels good because that's where you came from, or B, because it will be less uncomfortable for the person who's trying to talk on that level with you, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh my gosh, is he so cute? He is so cute. Anyway, so that's all I have to talk about today. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you made it to the end, awesome, awesome. You might want to consider subscribing if you want to continue the chats, because I love suggestions and I love interaction in the comments. But either way, I'm glad that you stopped by, and I look forward to, if you have a channel and I haven't visited yet, I look forward to checking it out. Make sure you say hey, you know, if I haven't been to your channel and you want to connect. But I hope that you're enjoying your week so far. It's early in the week. We're entering spring. I hope wherever you are in the world and in your life is beautiful. I look forward to hearing from you. And until the next time, I hope everything's awesome. Thanks again, guys, and bye for now.